Welcome back to the Operator's Table. I'm Cris Morgado. Today I'm with Tom Valentine of Valentine Solutions, a long-standing solutions integrator helping shippers cut costs and improve service by matching them with the right partners. We talk today about pressures, quick wins that last, and lessons from the floor. So without further ado, let's dive in. Tom, great to have you.
Cris, pleasure to be on here with you today, and the opportunity to have a conversation with you. So I look forward to it.
Awesome. So, because this podcast goes to people that have the entrepreneurial spirit and they are keen to find out more about entrepreneurs, a question that I like asking to my guests is, when did the entrepreneur path click for you? When did you think, yeah, this is it, I'm doing it my way?
A great question. There was a little demarcation about just over 15 years ago that created the foundation for Valentine Solutions. Always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit going all the way back when I was growing up in Northern Ohio. I'm the youngest of three boys, and I was the third one to get the paper route. A lot of people don't even know what that is, but that's where you would actually ride on a bicycle with no gears and actually deliver papers to your neighbors and collect money at the once a week from them. So that was instilled in us by our parents at a very early age. But just about 15 years ago, I was in the logistics space and was working for a mid-sized 3PL. We helped build that company up. It was sold off to private equity. Private equity was taking two other companies along with the company that we had worked with, Group Transportation Services, and was marrying those three together at that point and getting ready to take them public. And had the opportunity to sit down with management at that time. And it just felt like a right time to kind of break out on my own. And for about the first 5-6 years of the business, we represented them solely. We still have a lot of our customers that we've serviced clear back from 2002 when I got into the logistics space. So we still service them today. But from an entrepreneurial standpoint, it just felt like the right time, and we broke off, became a channel partner with them. Fast forward to today, we have over 35 companies that we represent and solving challenges in supply chain, freight management, warehousing, and fulfillment.
Well, that's an amazing story. A lot of people that are like your generation, they started working at a nearly an age, and it kind of instilled into them the work ethic and the discipline of work. And sometimes I feel today that kind of ethic is not there amongst the young people anymore. I wish there was a bit more that kind of old school tradition of basically getting on the road and getting your first dollar. But yeah, times have changed, I suppose. Now, that brings me back to an interesting question, because I suppose you started an entrepreneurial path, but was that a mentor, someone that basically helped you along the journey or that guided you, that made you who you are today?
I would say there's several people in that journey. One of them, was a combination of my parents from that standpoint. As I mentioned, I'm the youngest of three boys. All three of us are entrepreneurs. My father was a skilled tool and diesman all his life, and he's going to be 94 here in March.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
we're blessed to still have him. But, I would start from the core foundation, which is our parents. They didn't say you guys are going to be business owners or anything of that nature. But I think it comes back to a little bit of the work ethic, respecting others, paying it forward. All those kind of come together, right, as an entrepreneur and why you're doing what you want to do. I was in the corporate world in my first career and loved it. It was a great, positive experience. I know a lot of people don't have that, but I was fortunate to actually have that positive experience. And part of that mentorship going through that time frame in my life, in my very early career, coming out of college through, the first 12 years before the company was bought and sold. Fred Coy, who was my regional vice president at that time, Gordon Marshall, who was the president and founder of Marshall Industries, who we worked for, and then a young individual who took over the company during that whole transition and took the business to another level was Rob Roden. All those are key individuals and mentors in my career path during that time frame. Once we jump out of that and get more towards the logistics side of the equation, it'd have to be my oldest brother, Mike Valentine, very successful, very intuitive on the business side of the equation. And I'd have to say he's definitely a very, very successful entrepreneur. And he's actually co-founder and a binary defense, a cybersecurity company right now. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say my wife along the path as well. She's been with me lockstep all the way through almost 34 years. So those are going to be my initial key mentors. If I go way back in time,
Yeah, go for it.
Dr. Thomas J. Babb, who was my marketing professor at West Liberty State College at the time. It's now West Liberty University. So I don't know if that makes me smarter or not, but it went from a college to a university.
Well, I didn't catch his name.
I'm sorry?
I didn't catch your professor's marketing name.
Thomas J. Babb.
Thomas J. Babb. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So I guess they kind of set the foundations for what you are today as a great leader. So other than just leading, what's your day-to-day like for someone that is operating Valentine Solutions?
Yeah, so that becomes a little bit more of a complex answer on what do we do on a day-to-day basis. Simply, we solve challenges for companies of various shapes and sizes by plugging in one of our solution providers to solve a challenge in supply chain, freight management, warehousing, or fulfillment. Under that umbrella, it encompasses technology solutions, automation, blocking and tackling, such as moving freight from point A to point B, and then also warehousing and fulfillment and getting those items to either B2B or B2C. So my day-to-day activities are talking with prospective new opportunities and new challenges and solving those, working with our solution providers as well as our senior referral partners. Our senior referral partners actually bring the opportunities to the table, and then we actually do a deeper dive and deeper scope, further define that challenge, and then we reach in our toolbox and bring our solution provider forward who will actually solve that particular challenge for that customer.
Right. So you almost act like as an intermediary. You've got solution providers, you've got people with needs that are met by those solutions that you provide. So you almost, yeah. So it's like a consultancy uh,
Yeah,
like partner.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop you on the consulting side. We have consultants that we represent and consulting organizations that are very top notch. If the customer requires a consultant is part of that solution, but we really have substantial companies that are providing actual solutions, whether that's, we'll give you a couple examples, right? We have a lot of boat manufacturers that we manage their supply chain, their entire supply chain for. So we actually go out and pick up all the components that's used to build a boat, anything from an aluminum skiff up to 65-foot yachts and everything in between. So how do we do that? We engage one of our very experienced 3PLs, third-party logistics companies. We match make that to make sure it's the right fit for the customer and what they need, and it works from there, right? So we solve that. We streamline the process. We bring them hard dollar savings, and we bring them soft dollar savings by streamlining the process and bringing efficiencies to the overall model as well.
I understand.
Before our call here this morning, I was on a implementation call with one of my long-term customers and helping them on their international piece.
Right. So I guess consultancy could be part of the service, but you're actually offering real substantial solutions as part of the kind of logistics plan.
So, Chris, if I may, what makes us different, right,
Yes.
from a consulting company is this, right? A consulting company will come in. Typically, there's a challenge that a company, typically at the C level, will actually know what that challenge is, but they need help further defining it or further scoping it out and what to do at the end of the day. So a consultant would come in, do that deeper dive, grab data, further scope out the challenge, and then provide a report out back to the customer. And basically in that report out, it's telling the customer, here's a deeper dive into your challenge, and this is what you need to go do to fix it, right? Valentine Solutions, what we do is similar on that front end. So we'll do the scoping, we'll take data, we'll do analysis at no charge to our customers for the most part, depending on the size and scale. But we'll take all that, we'll bring a value proposition to our prospective customer, and it'll be a business decision. But when we bring a value proposition to them, we actually bring the solution provider forward who's going to solve that challenge. So the customer looks at it and says, well, here's my value proposition. And by the way, here's the company who's going to solve it. and we are a matchmaker. So we bring all those pieces of the puzzle together, and then we stay attached at a higher account level of management from a sales support standpoint. So our solution provider, again, depending size and scope of the opportunity, they may assign their own salespeople. They may have a project manager. They may have a team associated with that particular customer. Again, it just depends on the size and scope. But we actually make that marriage happen, and we take that extra step out so the customer doesn't have to go out and do any extra steps after a consultant has come in and presented a report out.
I understand. That's very
Does that
clear.
make sense?
It does totally. So you really, like you said, the word without trivialize. So you are actually in the middle, providing not just the value and insights into what needs within the freight and logistics kind of capability, but you actually have partners that you present to them that offer those solutions. That's amazing. So
Yeah, and if I may dovetail on that, right, just to let you know how far we streamline the business, right? So we're the last ones in the food chain from a compensation standpoint. So that doesn't, the customer's not cutting Valentine Solutions at, any type of compensation. They're not cutting our solution provider one. We actually bring that marriage together and put so much trust in the relationship that relationship is between our solution provider, who we are a channel partner for and represent, and we're actually compensated by them, right?
right.
So, so that way it streamlines the entire accounting process of it as well. So customer actually, the solution provider will invoice the customer will pay the solution provider. Eventually Valentine Solutions will be compensated by our solution provider. We don't double dip. We don't play that game. We have great relationships across the board. We maintain that trust factor throughout the entire.
That's great. I mean, that comes down to trust. Yeah. So that brings me to Alan Sugar, which is a British entrepreneur, and he has a great saying that he says that personalities open doors, but character keeps them open. And without trust, you don't have the foundation of a good business partnership. So that's super important. So that's awesome. So I guess for you, in terms of market shifts, where do you think demand is moving? Is it more on demand, schedule, project based? Or where do you think that demand is moving more at the moment within logistics? Is it more for parcel, LTL, FTL? What are your views?
Yeah, those are all some great questions. It's been like riding on a wavy ship here these last couple of years, and especially this year with, of course, the two key topics that everybody talks about and wants to talk about, and rightfully so, is tariffs and AI and where they play in a picture, right? So your specific question is, where are the markets at this point? So I think yesterday is a real demarcation point where the President of the United States had a very key and crucial meeting with President Xi over in China, and we're going to see how that flushes out. But to me, in my own personal opinion, I think that has a huge impact in regards to moving forward into 2026 from that standpoint. Regardless of what everybody wants to say, I mean, China and the U.S., they're the big players when it comes to the tariff situation. And once that is level set and agreed to, I think you'll see confidence back in the marketplace. I think we just yesterday, again, at the same time, we got a quarter point in the drop in the interest rates. You see it starting to come together. We'd like to see a half a point, but we got a quarter, right? It is what it is. But at least we got something, I guess, is the way to look at it. As far as the modes and where things stand, the truckload mode, for example, I mean, that's been pretty tough for the full truckload guys out in the marketplace up to this point. I think until confidence is restored fully back into the market and goods are starting to flow more seamlessly as they have been. Of course, we're going to have a busy time here now that we're in the holiday season, so you see that uptick anyhow. But I think 2026 is going to be the tail of the tape. You're going to see capacity start to potentially, especially after second quarter of next year, I think we'll start to tighten up a little bit more on the truckload. The LTL mode, that's kind of a given. Those guys have been in kind of a little bit of a sweet spot and maintaining their continued growth. I think the big boys are going to continue to get bigger because they've positioned themselves well for that growth. Small package, you're seeing more competitors kind of come into that space and that final mile space. So the FedExes, UPSs of the world are going to get a little bit more pressure, including from Amazon, as they continue to expand their business. model. And of course, you have your ocean and air as additional modes. Um, those change every 2 weeks at this point. So that's a little synopsis as far as by mode, if you're looking at it. But again, that's part of my opinion and market intelligence from what we see happening with our customers and out there in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great market insights. I think that a business cannot function, particularly within logistics, side the macroeconomics and macro politics. And of course, the relationships with China and even Europe definitely is very detrimental if it doesn't go in the right direction. Totally understand that. So moving a little bit more towards Valentine Solutions, what's really working well for you at the moment? Isn't there any particular vertical or use case you want to discuss today?
There's a couple areas that are working well for us. We're industry agnostic, so we can pretty much go to any footprint. I mean, it is logistics. As far as if you're a service-based company, that's really not a fit for what we do. But if you're making widgets in any capacity and you have product coming in to make your widgets, that is a fit for Valentine Solutions, and we can probably help you. If you're warehousing and distributing your widgets after you manufacture them, or just being a distributor itself and importing goods and then redistributing them, we can help you out on that side of the equation as well. A couple verticals that are pretty hot topics for us at this point. One is the marine industry. Has always been, we have a very, very strong and deep relationships in history in the marine industry. So we work with a lot of different boat manufacturers and a couple different trade associations in that particular industry, in that market segment. Next week, I'll actually be in Savannah as we work to penetrate a little bit deeper into the automotive space and help not only just at the automotive OEM side, but also at the tier one, tier two, tier three supplier base. I'll be actually moderating a panel, a little shout out to Georgia Automotive Manufacturing Association. So we'll be moderating a panel out in Savannah next week, specifically for that. So other than that, hopefully that gives you a little bit of summary of kind of where we're at, but we're industry agnostic, medical, pharma. There's really nothing that we can't really touch or have a good solution for.
That's good. That's good to know. So I guess the working well is one side of the coin, but sometimes there's always another side of the coin. So on that basis, what's been time consuming or tricky for Valentine Solutions you're trying to crack at the moment?
That's a great question. What's been challenging is due to the geopolitical climate with tariffs and the what if in the marketplace confidence has caused customers and prospective customers to delay maybe implementation or even making a decision. They know they need to invest in technology or automation. They know they need to grow their footprint, but they have held back a little bit on that decision-making process. So it'll be refreshing once that can is kind of uncorked, so to speak. And I won't say who, but I put so much faith in the way this is tracking on the tariffs that I actually wrote to one person in an email, and I said at the end of January 2026, we won't be talking about tariffs anymore because they'll all be level set. So now I just put that out there in the air, and we'll see. So if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to admit it, but I truly believe that our president understands the business environment, and tariffs are used for a temporary fix and not for a long-term painful experience. And there are companies out there that have been suffering from that standpoint, from the tariff issues. So I think that'll all be level set come by end of January. And China's again a big demarcation point to make that happen. There's some that's already set and taken care of. People don't talk about that because they don't want to, but in reality, there's a lot of them that's already level set, and you're not even talking about those countries anymore. And I think that'll just filter through, and the tariff conversation will be put on the side, and confidence will be gained back into the marketplace. And I think you'll start seeing capitalism start to move at a pretty quick pace.
Is there any particular workflow that you'd like to automate in the near future?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So you have to remember, we don't own any assets. So we don't own any trucks. We don't own any warehouses. Actually, all of our senior referral partners, and you could be one of them too, Chris, if you'd like to.
Okay.
are all 1099. It's, bring an opportunity to the table if you want to, and we have no problem in compensating our senior referral partners for what they do. It's a key value to us. So as far as automation goes, of course, AI plays a big part in what we're doing. You're going to see AI continue to get into those areas of executive admin and administration type work. From my perspective, it would be more towards I already use it right now for note taking for meetings, and it really streamlines the whole process, gives you a summary plus the detail. So it saves a lot of time and effort and scribbling in notebooks and trying to catch where you could pay more attention to what's going on and making better eye contact with the prospective customer and customer, knowing that, AI is working in the background, as long as you have their permission, by the way, to do so in taking those notes. And then we actually share those notes with our prospective customers or existing customers as well. But that's where we see, from my perspective for Valentine Solutions, it's just streamlining the administration side of the work.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty much already automated.
Okay. Is there any particular side of the administration that you think you'd like to go deeper into automation? Is there any particular facet of it that you haven't quite fully automated that you like to go deeper into?
Actually, yes. And I'm going to be talking to them. We utilize a CRM called Zoho,
Yes.
and they're pretty good at coming out with integrating new technology into it. I've already seen some improvements in what they're doing. Like if I make a phone call on my cell phone today, regardless of who it is, if they're established in Zoho or not, Zoho actually comes up and it asks me, notes for the call. Do I need to reschedule a call or a task off of that? So that automation is actually being put in play already for us, because that's where we live and breathe, is in the CRM environment from that standpoint. Other than that, when you start talking automation from a business standpoint for us, it's not like we own a factory or we're owning a distribution center and we're looking to automate, persons to goods or bring in AMRs. We can help companies do that. We can help them automate. We can help them design, lay out, and implement. But for my company personally, please remember we're a sales organization. So besides a smartphone, Chromebook, we're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, totally understand that. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. So, in terms of channels, you mentioned before that you don't do much marketing. It's more like senior referrals and I suppose the podcast and attending conferences. Is that deliberate that you're not kind of investing more in marketing channels? Or you feel you have enough demand that doesn't require investing in marketing at this point?
Well, I wouldn't say we don't invest in marketing, so I don't want to, don't misunderstand it. We do sponsorships, but they're selective, I should say, in regards to, the industry, the opportunity that it presents. But all those other examples that you gave are core for us. There's no other lead or opportunity, and you can ask any sales organization or salesperson in any company. If a customer refers you to somebody else, that's the highest level of compliment that, us as a sales organization can receive. And that also opens the door, because that referral then, creates additional opportunity and growth of business. When I talk about marketing opportunities, LinkedIn, I think, is a very viable tool. It's typically very, I would say 98% is business to business. So it's a very powerful tool, and it also, gets you out there in the business community and exposure. I'm sure this podcast today will be marketed through LinkedIn as well. So it gets a lot of views. But I think the people that are putting that together, if you start like, ourselves here today, it's business people conducting business and discussing business. And I think that part of the marketing and trying to educate uh, the business community on what we're doing and how we're doing it, more important than getting an email every week from Valentine Solutions and just pounding your email, which is probably going to go to spam. If I showed you my inbox, it's incredible how much gets filtered out on a daily basis of just email after email after email. I'm just a firm believer of, I love eye-to-eye contact. I love personal relationships. A lot of our senior referral partners come from that same school. Technology is awesome, and we love to use it. We use it for efficiencies. A lot of them are, senior global supply chain managers from very, very large, Fortune 1000 companies and the like. So we've all had those experiences, right? But at the end of the day, from a true marketing standpoint, I would rather spend focused dollars and use more of a rifle approach than just take a shotgun approach and just throw it out there to the marketplace.
I understand. I understand.
We can do a lot of we can do a lot of things for a lot of people, as you're probably assuming at this point, given we have so many solution providers available to us. But at the same time, we want to make sure we're doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason to solve the right challenge for the right customer.
That totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. So, in terms of LinkedIn, are you doing anything in particular, or do you have someone working on your LinkedIn approach?
It's a combination. Candidly, a lot of it I do myself. My degree was in marketing with a minor in computer science. My first career in the corporate world was in the semiconductor distribution business. So technology, I love. It's no secret. So I won't, if you look at a lot of the LinkedIn history, you'll start seeing there's an AI bent to it. So you were asking about, utilizing technology and how Valentine Solutions does. I could go out and hire somebody, but at the same time, I have a paid AI agent, and it does a lot for me at a lot quicker rate. And I can take that in a matter of minutes, tweak it, and have it posted up on LinkedIn with the content that I want.
Yeah, I understand.
So we are integrating and using AI is part of that. Usually every Friday, I put out what's called Fun Facts Friday, and we try to throw something out there that's unique, a strange kind of quirky fact, but then we tie it into supply chain and logistics and how that actually interacts
I see.
with the marketplace.
Okay, I guess, and on another question regarding like your outreach, do you do any work in terms of targeting potential senior referrers? Do you have like yeah,
So a lot of that is through word of mouth. It's interesting you bring that up. I don't know if it's the timing or not, but in 2026, we're actually going to be releasing some things on LinkedIn and putting that more out there in regards to now that we have our program pretty much streamlined from that standpoint. It's a very easy process. We have it spelled out to become a senior referral partner for Valentine Solutions. And it could really be anybody from that standpoint that's willing to we ask there's only a couple requirements up front. One is that bring a decision maker to the table. Two, have a challenge in the logistics bucket. It doesn't even have to be exactly defined, but if it's a challenge in the logistics bucket, I will personally be on that call and we'll take it from there. And if you make that introduction and then there's an engagement down the road, candidly, we share our part of our commission that we receive with our solution providers just for making that an introduction.
so you say you're planning for the 2026 to put something more kind of formal around the
Yeah, we'll be
solution.
releasing that. We'll be releasing that out to LinkedIn. I did a little bit of a test this past year, and it was not focused enough. We had a lot of people that were outside the scope of what we were looking for. And for example, people that were graduating college and coming out, first time job applications. And that's not a fit. That's not what we do from that standpoint. We need individuals that's why it's referred to as a senior referral partner. They use the individuals that have some type of relationship at that point, have some experience, or have an existing network in some capacity. And it doesn't have to be in the logistics space. It could be anybody that, you're walking out of church, you're walking out of a family event, and they go, you know what, they own a business and they say, oh, we need to grow our business and we don't know where to put our next facility. Those are all triggers for, hey, maybe we should call Valentine Solutions because they may be able to help us.
Then, and out of now, this is a question I like asking my guests because it involves a bit of magic. So, if I'd give you a magic wand and you could change one thing overnight about Valentine Solutions, what would it be?
All right, Chris. So you asked me a question. If you gave me a magic wand, what could I do waving that magic wand overnight for Valentine Solutions? Right. So I would say that we always have 100% every day, all the time, a happy customer. So for that to happen, all of our Everybody in the logistics from supply chain to distribution would all have to work smoothly every day, all the time, and on time, every time. So, unfortunately, those of us in our business understand the phrase of it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it's just a matter of when. Now, what separates us from others in the industry is that when something happens, we're always going to be there day or night, and we're going to get you the quickest answer and the quickest fix to whatever that situation is that may have happened.
You're not just matchmaking, but you're sure that the relationship stays alive, which is great. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're not in it for the shipment today or for the transaction today. We have customers that when I got into the business in 2002 is when I started in logistics. We still service customers today that are engaged with us and that we service and that I personally go and see and we talk to here into 2025. So we believe in building that relationship. Give us the opportunity at a small level if you want. Test us what we can do. We have excellent, great solution providers. We're going to bring the ones that fix and fit your specific need, and then we're going to stand by it and make sure that it all works. And we're going to be there down the road when something does go sideways. We're going to still be there to help you fix it and continue to build on that relationship.
So, looking at that process, let's say, for example, it's working for you really well. So, in 12 months, what will be a headline you'd like to hear about Valentine Solutions that you're aiming for? Is it
Well,
like,
you got great questions. I love it. I love that question. So 12 months from now, we would like to have over 100 senior referral partners up and running. So at the end of 12 months, we'd love to see that number and pin it up on the board. And of course, we'd love to double our business by then as well.
that's awesome goals to aim for? That's something that is, I guess, not out of reach if you've got the right systems and processes in place. Now, I guess the next question is, if growth was guaranteed, where would you invest first? Will it be people, systems, or marketing? If growth was guaranteed.
From my world, we'd invest into the people from that standpoint. Like I said, we're a sales organization. The technology is really already there for what we do. As I said, we're heavy CRM based, so we don't need a SAP operating SRS or HANA or an Oracle or an ERP or an MRP or a TMS or a WMS. We have all those available to provide to our customers, but internally we don't need that. We're a sales organization. Investment into people. I don't mind sharing the pie. I don't mind writing checks to other people. So I always been a very, very big advocate of that. Um, you know, please give us the opportunity to do that. So let's build confidence in the marketplace. Let's get the machine rolling again back here in the United States and globally from that standpoint. And we'll be happy to take care of more people.
That's kind of bringing us now a little bit towards the end of this podcast, and you've been so grateful with your time and your insights. I really appreciate that. I like to just to kind of wind down a little bit of podcast, make a little bit of a lightning round, just fire questions, one or two. This is about recommendations. So, what would be a book or podcast that you'd like to give to operation leaders?
Yeah, actually, two answers to that. It's a book by the name. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hem and haw. I know I'm in SEC country here in Atlanta, Georgia, but if you take a look at the book called Above the Line, I have several of them in my credenza already. I just gave one out to a friend of mine. It's called Above the Line. It's written by Wayne Coffey, and it is a story about the Ohio State, which is near and dear to my heart. I'm originally a Buckeye. I was born in Northeast Ohio, but that is a book that actually changed, and I really don't wear jewelry, but I do wear this. And if you get the book, you'll understand what E plus R equals O means. Event plus response equals outcome. And above the line just simply means making choices that are above the line, not below the line.
And what the line stands for? Is it what is common or?
It's either right or
All
it's
right,
wrong.
got it.
And the philosophy of E plus R equals O uh, comes from two individuals, Tim Kite and his son Brian Kite. I encourage you just to go ahead and get the book. If you want one, reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk with you and send you a book. I'll get you a copy.
Oh, wow.
So contact Tom Valentine And I'll be happy to talk with you about it as well as get your book. It's not only on a professional level, but it's also helps you from a cultural standpoint, team building. So it's both business and personal side of the equation.
That's awesome.
So that's
Wayne
yeah.
Coffey, right? Wayne
Wayne
Coffey?
Coffey is
Yeah,
the
cool.
author. Yes.
Cool.
Urban Meyer in Ohio State is on the cover. It's about a story. So if you like sports, you're really going to like this book. But if you don't like sports, you're still going to really like this book. If you don't, please reach back out to me and let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. And Chris, I'm going to get your address and I'm going to send you a copy directly from me.
Wow, that's so
Yep.
kind of you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Appreciate
And
it.
and as far as podcast goes, my good friend Scott Luton at Supply Chain Now, he has over 1 million subscribers and followers. Probably one of the best supply chain for our industry podcasts that are out there. And
That's cool.
he's a super great guy as well. So shout out to Scott Luton as well.
Awesome. Awesome shout out. That's cool. So I've got another question. Just will be the last one, because this one is actually, it's interesting for me to understand from leaders, because sometimes they go through the highs and lows and they have to persist and they have to have always the positive attitude and building relationships. So after all these years, what keeps you passionate? What keeps you going?
My wife, my family, my boys, in my world, right? Again, keep in mind we're a sales organization, but that has a lot of times I don't even like to call it that because it has a little bit of a negative connotation to it, but that's exactly what we do. We're channel partners, but in my world, what keeps me going every day is I love to pay it forward. We love to solve challenges and we love to see companies thrive. We love to see companies grow. We love to be part of that process. So whether you're a startup, a mid-size, or enterprise, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the same goals to continue to acquire market share, continue to grow your business, to grow your people. And that's the passion that I have every day. If we can help a company out, whether it's incrementally or substantially make those leaps, that's what's satisfying. And I think I mentioned that earlier in an answer to one of your questions. The highest compliment that we can get, yes. Do we financially get rewarded at the end of the day? Yes, in some capacity, because we're all in the business to make money in some capacity, right? So that goes without saying. But the highest compliment that we can get is when one of our customers, I either get an email or a phone call, and that phone call, when I pick it up, says XYZ company told me I should call you, and we need your help in this area. Getting a referral or a recommendation from our solution providers or specifically our customers is the highest compliment that we could take. And I'll take that over the money any day, because if you're chasing the money, you're always going to be chasing the money. So get out there, pay it forward, make those good choices above the line, do what is right. And sometimes it's harder to do what's right than it is not to. That's what keeps me passionate. That's what wakes me up in the morning. I get my workout in, away we go. Let's get to it and let's solve some problems and make some people happy today.
Wow, that's awesome. That was a brilliant way to bring this podcast to an end. That's really cool. I can tell the passion shines through. That's awesome. So before we start wrapping up, is there anything you'd like to share with our listeners and viewers in terms of where they can find more about Valentine? Let's say if someone wants to know more about becoming a solution provider, or someone that wants to work with Valentine, they have a challenge. Have you got socials, anything you'd like to share with the viewers?
Sure. Multiple avenues. We're out there, in the social media realm as well. We talked about LinkedIn. Please go to LinkedIn, look up myself, Tom Valentine. Let me know that you saw a podcast. I'd love to hear feedback from what you guys took away from it, or even if it sucks and what we can do better, because we're always about continuous improvement. So check me out on LinkedIn and be happy to connect with you there. Go to our website, Valentine Solutions. LLC.com, Valentine Solutions, LLC.com. If you want the cheat sheet, scroll down, you'll see 3 boxes: supply chain, freight management, warehousing, and fulfillment. If you click on each one of those boxes, you're going to see a listing of services, and you'll see the broad scope of services for each one of those. We have 1 or 2 solution providers that we can plug and play to solve those challenges that I'm sure you're facing today. My email is tom@valentinessolutionsllc.com. Other than that, our office phone is 770-360-5537. If you really want to connect on the business side, LinkedIn is the way to go, or send me out an email, and we'll take it from there. And we'd be happy to have the opportunity to help you out.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So that was an awesome conversation. Thanks for pulling up a chair at the operator's table. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow us wherever you listen to our podcast at, and share it with someone who loves hearing real stories from real operators. Today's guest was Tom Valentine from Valentine Solutions. I'm Chris, and this is Operator's Table, where we meet the people who keep business moving. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the next table.
Chris, thank you very much for the opportunity, and we appreciate you and the podcast here today.